Welcome to Storybowl, Long Island. My name is Liz Byrne, and I'm your hostess for this evening. And I thank all of you for coming. I know you have many choices of where you could spend your Saturday nights, and it's lovely that you've chosen to join us for a very good cause, which is to feed the hungry. As the signs say at the door, every dollar collected tonight goes directly to Action Against Hunger, a lovely organization that I'm particularly fond of because not only do they arrive into crisis situations, but they have a real focus on sustainability going forward. So they may bring food, they may bring water, they may bring blankets and clothing, but they stay, and they will bring drought-resistant crops to be planted for the future, and they will build irrigation systems for future farming, and they will replace the boats that were washed out to sea for the fishermen so that they can fish. So they really work on not just rescuing people, which they do in immediate dire need, medical need, but they work on helping those people to go forward in their lives and to provide for themselves and their families and their neighbors. And that is one of the reasons that I chose Action Against Hunger as the recipient of our funds for tonight. I hope you've had an opportunity out front to buy some of the raffles. We're raffling off vegetable plants. There's a couple of them up here. I thought it was a nice idea to have vegetables, as our theme is on feeding the hungry, and also just to maybe instill a few people who want to check out that green thumb, to plant in their yard and to join in community with their neighbors and their family and plant a garden and nurture it and watch it grow and harvest and then share in the bounty of the earth as local community members.
I was introduced, so to speak, to the storytelling community last fall. I went to a seminar that was hosted by Laura Sims and her son up at the Kripalu Yoga Center. And as a result of that weekend, which was about how to find your story and tell your story, I ended up going to an event at the Nigerian Embassy, which was the kickoff event for the Storybowl. And Bob Reiser was there with a few other storytellers. And I was just quite moved and impressed with the undertaking of the Storybowl project. In fact, volunteered that day to help them with the program and administrated some things and went to a few meetings and helped to organize and get things rolling a little bit. And then I decided that I would produce my own event, which is why we're here tonight.
So just a moment on storytelling. Has anyone been to a storytelling event before? Yes? Oh, good. A lot of people. Okay. So storytelling as a means to convey a message, pass down a story through a family, pass down what your ancestors went through, talk about culture, stories often with a moral at the end, that it's the best way to communicate. We were talking as a group earlier about how we're texting and we're emailing, and there's so much going on that doesn't involve conversation and it doesn't involve people being together as a group. So storytelling as a means of community and bringing people together. He went into the lodge, and in there was a circle of men, great men, wise men, warriors, medicine men, and there, within their midst, was the Great Spirit, Tirawa. "Come in, my youth, come in," he beckoned to the young man, and he asked one of the warriors to feed the child. The warrior took down a small piece of meat, and he topped it with a little slab of fat, and this he handed to the youth. The youth kind of looked at it and thought it wasn't going to do much for someone who was starving because it was a very small piece, but he started to eat it, and he found that no matter how much he ate of the meat, it did not decrease in size. So he ate and he ate and he ate until his belly was completely full and he was completely satisfied. And Tirawa looked at the young man and he said, "I have seen the sufferings of your people, and I want to help. Here are your instructions." And what did he see? Buffalo. Hundreds and hundreds of buffalo. Bulls and cows and calves, their vast, large bodies darkening the snow like a giant forest on the move. And he ran back to the camp and he said, I've seen them, I've seen them, I've seen the buffalo." Well, the men grabbed their bows and their arrows, and the women grabbed their babies and their knives and their sledges, and off they went. And because there was so much snow in the ground, the buffalo could not stampede, and the men had an easy kill. And they killed enough to get them through to the summer hunt. Well, then the real feasting began that night, and what laughter, what song, and what stories they shared amongst themselves on this beautiful evening. And of course, the youth who had brought this good fortune to his people, he grew up to be a very wise and great man. And in fact, the chief, who was a woman at the time, when the chief passed away, this youth became the new chief of the tribe. And he lived to a very ripe, good old